Okay, I will shortly. So we're here right now at this march for missing and murdered Indigenous men, boys, and Two-Spirit Plus people. And you can see behind me all of the marchers here. They began their journey at the Vancouver Police Department. Oh, they're telling me to catch up here. So I don't want to fall behind. But they began their march at the Vancouver Police Department at Cambie, and they marched all the way over the Cambie Street Bridge, and they're making their way right now to Creekside Park, where there's going to be more of the community there supporting them and cheering them on as they make their march. And we hear from people here today about their stories, about why they're here and why it's important to raise awareness for this cause. And let's chat with some of the people here, some of the marchers, and see why this is so significant for them. So I just want to know, why are you here today, and why is this important for you?
I'm here to remember my brother-in-law, Everett Jones. He went missing in Duncan, BC, right? And his mom is just so worried and wondering what happened to her son, because he was such a nice guy. Like, he didn't drink, didn't use drugs. He was just like a happy-go-lucky guy, and for him to go missing, right, and not knowing answers, like, his mom just wants to know what happened to her son before she leaves this world, right? And it's been years, probably about 5 years now, maybe more, that he went missing. And there's been like 4 other guys that went missing in the Duncan area, like one after another. So to have this march and to show that we're thinking about our brothers and sisters, our brothers, right? Because it hasn't been heard, or it's always something negative, right? Oh, like, all they do is drink or drag, or, like, we don't hear about the good warriors that stand up for the families or stand up for the communities that support the nation, right? So it's always here negative, right? So when you hear like all the good stuff that's happening, and just remember, like, it was a crime. It's a crime, right? Like, my late spiritual brother, Anthony James Dawson, like, he was murdered, and, and it was still covered, right? It was still covered. So, to have family members, like, just wanting an answer and knowing why.
And why do you think, it is so important to have this march, to see the support? I mean, what does that feel like as you're going through this process of having so many unanswered questions? What does it feel like to at least have people that are experiencing the same things?
To know that we're family, like one heart, one mind, right? And to have the support of the community, like UGM, to come and support, the First Nations people because of reconciliations, and they see that, like our children struggle with what happened to our families, from residential school, the 60 scoop, right? The day school, right? All the kids that went, all the children that were murdered in the schools, right? That trauma trickled through my generation, through my children and my grandchildren, like, to have raising in an alcoholic home, right? Because that's how I was raised, so I did it, right? So you see the hurt, because that's what happens to our children. So we just reflect on what happened to us, right? And think it's normal. Is it normal? No, it's not normal, right? And to make people understand that there is a better way of life, of healing, right? When you start your healing journey, you have so much support from the whole family, right? A spiritual family, which is so important, to acknowledge all our brothers who have gone murdered and missing, especially with all the ODs on the downtown east side, right? Those young men, they were somebody's family members, and some of them come to Vancouver on the downtown east side just to lose themselves because they don't want to know what happened to them. They don't want their family to suffer, right? So they'd rather come down here and die alone, right? And meanwhile, at home, their families are always wondering what happened to my son. You know, like, we love them. We love them. And, you know, it's not that we don't want them to die alone, right? So when you see somebody on the downtown east side or somebody, just ask them if they're okay, you know. And when I used to work with Mission Impossible, I always say, do you want to call home? Right? I said, whenever you want to call home, we can call home, and just so your family knows that you're okay, because you're still missing. Hey, brother. Great.
We can.
Okay.
Yeah, we don't want you to miss the welcoming here, but thank you so much for, you know, being so open. I know that it's difficult to process some of the events that have unfolded recently and to speak about them and the intergenerational trauma, but I really appreciate you being so open with me. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Absolutely. So we see all the marchers, they're coming back here to Creekside Park, and there's a big welcoming from the community, and we're just about to see a canoe welcoming here for all of the marchers, so let's take a look. You can see the powerful words written on some of these signs. The hurt of one is the hurt of all. You know, you can see how important it is for the community to join together and to really have one another in these difficult times. Let's chat here with, we see that they have this sign here, Justice for Charles Waututh. Can I chat with you a little bit about what you're here for today?
This is Charles Waututh, my late son. He passed away September 6, 2015. They found him in a storm drain on near the P&E grounds. He was laying upside down in a shallow storm drain. Ever since that time, me and Alicia, this is Alicia, her brother, we've been researching and investigating on our own, trying to find out what happened, because we don't believe he died an accidental death. I think he was murdered. Nothing adds up that he died accidental death, except just the coroner's findings. But we don't believe that he died like that, like the way he was found.
And what would you hope that people understand from today, and to really raise awareness about these missing and murdered deaths?
Well, we should find a balance with the missing and murdered women and girls, because I'm actually a master's student at First Nation Studies at UNBC, and doing my research, I found out that we have a higher rate of men and boys missing, and children. Like, we need to uplift our men with healing, because these documents they come up with, the governmental documents, they're not working. They're just laying on a shelf getting dust, and nobody's doing anything. But the more we bring awareness, because when my son died, there's nobody. We felt all alone, like nobody. And today I feel so uplifted seeing all these people, and that our prayers are being answered and that we're being heard too.
Thank you. Thank you so much for sharing your story. And as you can see, all of the support here,
Yes.
you know, in that journey. So thank you again.
Charles will be happy.
Yes, absolutely. Take care. We're going to chat with who is behind this whole operation here. I got to try to hunt him down, but Curtis actually spearheaded this movement. This is the second annual march for missing and murdered Indigenous boys and men. So I just saw him, but I'm going to try to hunt him down. Oh, I see him over there, and chat with him a little bit about the importance of this. Hi, Curtis.
Wait till the guys come in.
Oh, yes. Okay, no problem. Okay, we're going to actually interrupt quickly because we're going to see the canoes come in. So you can see it right over there. You see the canoe coming in and welcoming all of the marchers for their hard work this morning.
Ruben, over here.
I wouldn't be happy with it.
We're being summoned. Are you Dakota? Are you Dakota?
No.
I thought you might be.
It's clear here how evident the support is. You can feel it in the air. The burning of sage, a traditional Indigenous remedy, the canoe, also a symbol of resurgence and resilience for the Indigenous community. You can see how important it is for everybody to be standing here in solidarity, showing the support for the missing and murdered Indigenous boys and men. So let's take a look and see. often we hear about no more stolen sisters. The signs here today saying no more stolen warriors, really trying to raise awareness about the significance about missing and murdered Indigenous men who are actually not included in the national inquiry into justice. And so we're going to talk to Curtis, who spearheaded this event, about why it is important to really organize these such marches to spread the word.
Our delegation, our commandant, our Grand Chief, our uncle, Terry TG, Embis, and all the organizers and all the people here from the shore.
Let's go down.
Now, everybody go back there for some free Subway sandwiches. Feed every one of you. There's gonna be some speeches over there. So go over there to the chairs. Well, come up here. You parked there or what?
They definitely deserve the Subway sandwiches. Yes. So Curtis, you spearheaded this whole march today. Why is this important to you?
Well, I come from treaty territory in Saskatchewan. I'm a Cree visitor on Coast Salish territory. I want to say that first, but it's dear to me. In Saskatoon, there was a thing called Starlight Tours, where the Saskatoon police would take Indigenous men outside the city. It was minus 30, 40 weather, and they'd literally leave them there to freeze to death. And they even said that to different brothers. They said that if you don't smarten up and start respecting the law, we're going to just take it in our own hands and leave them out there and freeze to death. So my friend Lawrence Wagner was one of them. So the Maclean's magazine did an article about that in 2005. So I've been doing what I can over the years to continue to create awareness like today. This is the second annual one, to raise the spirit of our brothers and boys. This upside down canoe represents our brothers that gone missing and murdered. That's what this is, the upside down canoe. And this is the ocean, and the star is the creator. We're coming to reclaim them. That's why that canoe is here, to come and reclaim them. And that's what we want to do, is to celebrate, even though lots of our relatives are mourning and anger about why men keep going missing. And it's actually higher than missing and murdered Indigenous women. Over the years, there's been so many men murdered and missing, and boys.
What's one thing that you would hope people understand about this ongoing issue?
I think that education. I think that the generation of people born before the 50s. I think the generations now and kids even now that are in school, because we went to the high schools to ask kids from high schools to get a deeper understanding of the history of this injustice that's happened and is still happening, and we want that awareness to continue to spread through the Canadian mosaic, they call it, to have them understand that why are Indigenous people still at the bottom of the totem pole. I'm using a West Coast term. We're at the bottom, literally still being unseen, unrecognized. Even though we have traditional welcomings of territory, Canada is recognizing, they make a joke about it, that we're on stolen land is really what the historical term is that this was the people of the original nations were here first, but we're still being treated like not that. And there's lots of non-native Canadians that don't know the history of what happened to our people here, which is, I believe, is a genocide. Not cultural genocide, just straight up genocide. Murder, criminal acts. Yeah.
And the fact that missing and murdered Indigenous boys and men are not included in the national inquiry, what can you say to that?
I think that we're here because of the missing Indigenous women's work, their leadership, the matriarch. We're just following their lead to bring the continuing awareness from the women and sisters. But men now, we want, in fact, the woman said that. When are the men going to stand up? When are we going to start making our voices heard and let media and the world know about? So that's why I'm here, is because the sister said, "Hey, Curtis," and I humbly raised my hand and said, "Okay, sister, I got your message loud and clear. We're going to do our turn to bring awareness and education about, the unfortunate policing
Right.
in Indigenous communities, the RCMP and Vancouver PD and any other anywhere across Canada.
Right.
How are they really doing their investigation? That's what we want to know. That's that piece that I'd love to sit on, that national investigating. I want to see those how they policed our people over the years.
Well, you could see such an amazing turnout, so it's clear that the message is ringing strong. But thank you so much for chatting with me and for sharing why this is so significant to you. I appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I'm grateful that you came. And
absolutely. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
We'll head
okay.
over there. Oh, absolutely. So you can see a lot of people over here, sharing in this message of community, of reclaiming their space, their land, reconciliation, and it's really beautiful to see how many people are showing their support for the missing and murdered Indigenous boys and men and Two-Spirit Plus people. For more on this, you can catch CBC Local News at 6. I'm Yasmin Gandham in downtown Vancouver.